Hey, we got a couple minutes here. I'm going to probably be 7 to 8 minutes, and this is what I want to talk about today. It's about being overwhelmed. And I'm talking about being personally overwhelmed, and I have the feeling that you're being overwhelmed as well. Here's why I'm overwhelmed, and something that I want you to consider. I'm going to share a couple things that we go through here, but it's really about being overwhelmed in your business and how that is accelerating and even getting worse. And it's something that's been happening to me just in the last couple months. And I'm going to share what I'm going to do to hopefully move my way or navigate my way around it. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about all this ChatGPT stuff and all this AI stuff. I'm getting not only confused, but I'm not able to keep track of all of the stuff that's happening just by numbers, or more importantly, the things that all of these new tools are doing, which ones I should use, when I should use, which ones I should pay for, which ones I shouldn't pay for, which ones work in combination. I'm getting completely overwhelmed with them. Now, that doesn't mean that I think they're bad. And in fact, I think we're all going to have to jump on them, especially if we're building training sites. We're building online learning campuses, and we want to grow an education business. We're going to have to get a lot better at two things. One of them is organizing all of this AI content that's coming out. And secondly, creating some standard operating procedures or ways to manage them, to not only keep track of them, but apply them in a way that's going to be best for us for our business. So here's what's happened and how I kind of ran into this. About maybe 60 days ago, I started to do almost a video a day. And what I would go on is just do some open tabs, look what was happening, look what I ran into the day before, try and look at it again today or the night after, and then go, okay, what are the tools that I ran into? What are the AI tools? What are the ads that I saw on Facebook? What are the ads that came up for me for brand new services when I went to LinkedIn? If I went and looked at Twitter, what was there? All of these different things, I'm getting overwhelmed. What I would do is I take a look at 3 or 4, 5 of them for the day, and I went, wow, this is a pretty cool tool. I'd sign up for a free account, play around with it, see how it applied to my small business and our training site creation agency, and just trying to keep track of them. And you can imagine if you do that for 8 weeks or 6 weeks or once a week, we were doing 3 to 5 different tools every day. So let's say I did get 4 out of the 5 days in, and I do 5, that's 20 a day times 8, 160 different tools that could apply to training sites, building online courses, building an education business, marketing the course, creating websites, creating course content. So you got 160 of those. Which ones work together? Which ones are the best ones? Which ones are paid? Which ones are not paid? There's not an easy way to keep track of that. And that's what the big issue is. I personally and our company was getting overwhelmed, and to some extent still is. We're struggling to keep up with all of the different tools that are available. So here's what's going to happen. Well, the first thing is I just want to I want you to think about this for a minute, because when we actually take a look at what's happening here, as some of the statistics of all of this stuff that's really happening, I just took a look at some of the things that were going on in this whole space. Let me pull it up from you. So some of these were from Forbes magazine. And again, this is kind of a business to business corporate run, but I still think that you're going to find we're kind of in the same boat here, even for small businesses. So top stats, here's the one. Market size expected to reach 407 billion. That's with a B. 21% net increase on the GDP in 2030. A lot of people are concerned about it. Fair. 75% are consumers. But if you're a course creator or a small business, even though your customers are concerned, you're going to have to use it just to keep up. Here's the one that kind of grabbed my attention. This one was ChatGPT had 1 million users in the first 5 days of being available. I don't know what that is today, but I suspect that it's going to be a lot more. 65% or 64% expect AI to increase productivity, and the adoption is what's really, really happening. Now, I'm looking at this from the perspective of from courses and teaching online and training sites. So if all of these things are happening and we're trying to kind of not be overwhelmed for it, we have a couple choices as to what we're going to do with all of this added information that applies to our business. And there's technically three choices, but you have to pick one of the two, in my opinion, and forget about the third one, which I'll share last. But you've got a couple choices. The first one is that you can go, and if your business has something like a help desk, or you are using tools to manage projects, most of them have some kind of knowledge base or document library that you can use. And these ones are usually a software as a service or something that is part of a tool set that you use. So I'll give you an example. If you have a piece of software that does your help desk, so this is something that if someone has or needs a support question, they either send an email in or they open up a support ticket and you reply to it. Most of those tools usually have some kind of document library that gets created either by the support tickets and or for complementing or helping the answers of the responses or removing the request for a ticket to be open. It's like a self-help, right? So they have a document library. So one of the things you can do is if you already have a help desk software, you can go and start filling up that document library with all of this information and keeping track of it. And the reason that I think this is important is here's the big thing. If you're going to do this, most of the stuff that we do internally is not about answering questions about the actual AI tools and what they are and what they do. It's how they get applied. So if you're going to do a document library, you've got to find a way that shows case studies or examples of how to apply all of these tools that you're learning about, keeping track of them, saying these are the ones we like, these are the ones we don't like, being able to organize those and cross-reference them so that you have a personal library that's over and above the document library that you're doing for your customers. So there's that whole software as a service part where you kind of put it into your libraries that are part of your help desk one. The other one you might want to consider are some of the tools that are project management tools. So you're looking at Smart Suite or ClickUp or Teamwork, for example, or any of those tools that are about managing projects, because the majority of them have a place or have a way to keep track of all of this information again. And that's one that you can use. There's one, for example, like Notion, which is just about organizing and really keeping track of your content. All wonderful tools, but these are softwares as a service that you're going to have to start using if you aren't already, just to keep up with managing all of this information that's coming forward. Now, I don't use any of those. In fact, I did use those for a long time and kind of stopped. We do some tools in-house. We keep them in WordPress specifically, and we've used some tools to start to keep track of those within WordPress. And I'm going to tell you why. There's two reasons that we do that. One, and this is the big one, is that since I've been doing this 25 years, doing internet marketing, is in as much as there's a whole bunch of software as a service tools that are all available, my personal experience with these is that you usually have a lifespan. So it might be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years with a particular tool, and then there's another one that comes along that does something a little bit more or a little bit less, or is a little cheaper, or it's a more flexible, and you end up having to move or transfer everything over from time to time. So that's one of the things that I find out or found basically using that as a particular tool. The other thing is that if you are using this content management that's external from your business, you always have to worry about integrating them and having them put together. So those are two things to think about. They all work good if they're a software as a service, a tool that you're already using. Great tools, nothing wrong with them. Just understand that in most instances, the tool that you use will change. The pricing will change, the services will change, and the way that it fits into your existing business will change as well. And that even applies if you have a piece of software that's doing everything for you. Again, it's been my experience, 3 to 5 years, something happens and it's gone. So I look over a little bit more over the longer term, and what we've done is we keep it internally in WordPress, And the reason we do that is two reasons. One is it's been our experience that the number of tools or plugins that are available for WordPress and keeping it on our own platform are a little more flexible than having someone else create the tool and keep the tool on their platform. So we generally have a little more flexibility in what it does, how it's set up, how it can be adjusted to support our specific needs. And the second thing is the ability to integrate it to our existing business. So that means our help desk is there. That means stuff that we sell is there. Using documents as something, it's a saleable item directly within the website. There's a whole bunch of positive things that happen there, but it means that it's on your WordPress site and there's other responsibilities, like things like securities and backup and all of that, which we do for our customers and ourselves. So we're comfortable for that. So you got to decide, what am I going to do? How am I going to take care of this? Am I going to stop being overwhelmed? And again, the other thing to think about is when you're wondering about that feeling overwhelmed, is there a cost to that? Does it really matter if I'm overwhelmed? There's usually that overwhelm. There's all of the emotional things that you have personally, but when you look at it from a business perspective, there's all sorts of stuff that comes in place too. And it's usually financial issues. And more importantly, it's time issues, because the overload in tasks that if you're not keeping up with these and your competitors are, you're going to fall behind. And if you fall behind, it means that you're either going to procrastinate usually because you are falling behind and you feel that you can't keep up, or more importantly, you're going to get overwhelmed because of trying to keep up to the expense of all of your personal life and the other parts of your business. So you got to really, there's time constraints or time issues with that. And then the financial issues. If you think that you are going to have an education business, you are going to be creating content, and if you think you're not going to be using AI tools and the right ones to actually create your content, have standard operating procedures, have a way to keep track of all this, if you don't think, or you think that you're not going to be using it, I don't think you're going to have a business, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So you can use a third-party service. You can do it right within WordPress, or you can not do it at all. And I don't think not doing it all is a good answer. And in fact, it's the one that's going to kill your business and keep you more overwhelmed and more frustrated. So which ones do you want to use? Which are the best ones to use? There's tons of choices, and that's what we'll do as one of the next sessions is we'll cover them. Go take a look and say, okay, what's the best tool to use if I'm going to pick a software as a service, or if I want to do it right within WordPress? How does that work? How can I keep track of it? Hope you enjoyed this. We got lots more of these to come. Please like and subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. If you want to have access to all of these courses, all our training material, go to trainingsites.io and sign up or register there. Or more importantly, if you just want all of this done for you, if you want an education business where we get it all built and structured for you, we actually help you create the courses with you and for you. And if you want them marketed for you in terms of all the social media, email marketing, automations, all of the great stuff, just reach out and we'd love to help you out do that and give you a chance to start, build, and grow your education business. This is James Maduke from trainingsites.io. Take care. Expect the best. We'll see you again tomorrow or the next day.